Hey guys, Marissa at kitchentablestamper.com. We've got a cool interactive card for you today. It works great as a gift card holder. It's got a little mechanism here that just lifts the gift card right out of the pocket. You can have a bunch of little guys stamped on there and maybe they pop up, you can put your greeting in here and decorate the pocket. But basically it's a little pocket and fun interactive fun fold. With or without a gift card, I think anybody would get a smile receiving a card like this. We're going to start this card with a piece of railroad cardstock that is 5.5 by 11. We're going to pop that in the Simply Scored tool. This was our card for coffee and a mystery card today. It was so much fun to walk everybody through the clues and how to complete this card. Okay, we're going to score on the 11-inch side at 2.5 and at 6 3/4. Now we've also got a piece of Whisper white cardstock here. This one is 4.5 by 4. We're going to score on the 4-inch side at 3/8 of an inch. Now we're going to burnish our score lines. All right, there's our card-based pieces. Now tear and tape is our best buddy for this job. We're going to put a strip of strong adhesive, I like my tear and tape, on this 3/8 inch tab. You can go ahead and remove the adhesive liner. Now we want this like an L, you see? We're going to open our card base and we're going to pop this guy right in. It's going to go in this first segment. So here's our 6 3/4 inch score line, and we're going to bring the edge of this 4.5 inch by 4 piece right up against this score line. So I like to do it this way. This way I can see, am I up against the score line? Is everything straight? And is it equal right to left? Once you've got that, then just go ahead and adhere that down. And then this is what you've got. Now we're gonna take our tear and tape and we're gonna make a pocket. This was our 2.5 inch score line. We're gonna go on the right and left edges of our pocket, and we're gonna put strong adhesive. I got tear and tape here all the way against the edge of the card. Grab my take your pick tool, get that adhesive started. Now we want the pocket that we're about to fold to catch the edge of this inside panel. We just want to trap this edge, but we don't want any adhesive to touch this white panel at all. So you're just going to kind of check that out as you're folding. Let me tip it so you can see. You want to make sure that your tear and tape on the edges isn't going to adhere to that white piece at all. You can burnish that down with our bone folder, and now we have our fun little mechanism. Isn't that cool? All right, let me take a look here. Our clues, this will help me with measurements. For the mystery card, I give the clues on Wednesday, and then on Thursday we get together and we stamp. So our designer series papers for this project are 2 different patterns. And pattern 1, we have 4.5 by 5 1/4, and we have 2 1/4 by 5 1/4. So that's our first pattern. Our second designer series paper, pattern 2, is 2 1/4 by 4 3/4 and 1 1/4 by 3 1/2. Those are our designer series papers. Let's go ahead and adhere them to our card. I'm going to use some multi-purpose liquid glue. So what do you think of those True Love designer series papers? I'm having fun so far with the black and white. All right, a little bit of glue. We're just going to center this one on the front panel. I'm shaking up my designer series papers from the original design. Oh, I forgot I wanted to tuck my ribbon in there. Let me show you. Get the card back in here. Now you can take this ribbon that goes across and you could wrap it all the way around, but that's going to use up a whole lot of ribbon. So what I want to do is grab my Magenta Madness ribbon, and then I'm going to take maybe 6 inches of ribbon. You need a ribbon scissor, otherwise it'll just bounce right off. Maybe 6.5. I want a straight edge over there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lift this. Multi-purpose liquid glue grabs quick, but I think I can still pop that edge underneath. And then just to secure it, I'm gonna put a little more glue. Multi-purpose liquid glue will hold down the ribbon. And so we're gonna do the same thing here. Now I could have just tied it around the whole front of the card, would have been fine, but I think I'm gonna be all right to just lift that up and tuck it under. So I'm going for it. Looks good. Now, inside, I'm gonna take that same polka dot pattern. I'm gonna put this guy on the pocket on the inside. Now for these pieces, I want to dovetail one or both ends, and I love to use my tailored tag punch for that. It's really a multitasker. It's a great label shape, but it can also do your dovetails for you. And with the lines, the little parallel lines on the inside of the punch, you can really get a good even dovetail each time. And you can go up to about 2 1/4 inches wide. And so it's a good multitasker. If you don't already have this guy, I know he's been around for a while, you might want to consider getting him. Right, there's our dovetails. Let's go ahead and get our designer series paper inside. Put that off to the side a little bit. Sometimes with dovetail ends, little flag ends, I like to roll the ends up just a little bit. This guy, we're going to do the same thing. Just roll these tails up. I like the texture that it brings, the dimension. You just shape it by burnishing the paper between your thumb and your index and middle finger. And just take your time. You don't want it to look like you crinkled it, like you picked it out of the garbage, but it'll give it a little bit of dimension if you roll it. And then you'll add your adhesive across the center. And we're going to slide this guy right underneath our ribbon. You can burnish down. Problem with this dot pattern is you've got such a strong horizontal pattern. You don't have a chance if you get it crooked. Everybody's going to see it was crooked. All right, now Magenta Madness ribbon again. Going to slide under our anchor ribbon and tie our bow. So here you don't make any sort of a knot. You're just going to take, if your right hand is dominant, like mine is, you're going to start with your right hand down. If your left hand is dominant, then you're going to flip the ribbon to the left side and start with your left hand down. All right, so here's a left hand dominant. You're going to pick up. Notice how there's no twisting. There's nothing crazy here. We're just kind of folding. Now, we're holding that little loop we made. We're going to come over the top. If you ever wonder why the tails in your bows are always upside down, it's because you go around the bottom. If you go over the top, like I just did there, tuck through and pull every single time. Left-handed, right-handed, on the moon, in a fox with a box, your ears will be up and your tails will be down. So there's a little trick for tying a bow. Give it a little finesse. And let's trim away the excess. And when you tie from the spool, that's all the waste that you have. You'll only throw tiny bits away. We're looking pretty good, aren't we? Let's take our Stamparatus and we're going to do some stamping. I'm using my brand new Hearts and Kisses bundle. All right, the Hearts and Kisses bundle includes a Hearts and Kisses stamp set and the Hearts and Kisses punch. I think this is Hearts and Kisses punch. When you buy these two products together, you save 10%. I'm going to show you a little trick with the Stamparatus. We're going to set this up so that we can punch. So we can stamp and punch both icons at once. We're going to use the lips on the outside and the heart on the inside. So we might as well save some time and stamp and punch both at one time. So I've taken a piece of cardstock here. It's a scrap cardstock. It's like a brown paper bag. I keep it around the office and make my templates out of it. So you've seen this before. It's about 6 3/4 inches by about 4 3/4. It really is a scrap, but what you want is for it to be smaller than your stamp case. So then you can always have this template right with your Hearts and Kisses stamp set. So you're gonna put the punch on the edge and you're gonna bring it in as far as it'll go and punch. Then you're gonna take your stamps and you're gonna lay them right inside that open space. And you'll be able to feel the rubber stamps just kind of drop right in there. And do the other one too. And then once you've done this, you're going to be all set to stamp and punch both all in one movement all day long. It's pretty cool. All right, so I got some real red ink. I like to put the stamp case next to the Stamparatus and then ink on that. Gives you a little bit of support and lifts up so that you're to the level of these hinges instead of inking on a downhill. You're gonna ink up really well, slide a little scrap of real red in underneath our template. Close the lid and stamp. Now I found with the real red, I liked inking the lips a couple of times. I did some Magenta Madness lips and I didn't think that it needed to be stamped more than once. I felt like one coat of ink was plenty, Magenta Madness on Magenta Madness, but real red needed a little extra help. So I inked that a couple of times and stamped it. Set this aside for just a second to dry. All right, before I punch the real red one, let me show you the Magenta Madness. So the Magenta Madness, that's just one coat of ink and stamping. I felt like the details really stayed. You could see them. It was a little bit harder with the real red. So after stamping it with a couple of coats of ink, get a little bit more of the detail there. All right, so we've got our punch all ready here. Let's go ahead and drop that little guy in. Just using my scissors to kind of line it up. I might glue a handle on the edge if I'm having trouble getting it to line up. You guys ever seen that trick? Got a little scrap. It doesn't matter what kind of scrap you've got. Little adhesive. A dry one works best. Put a touch of dry adhesive on the edge of your scrap. Put the edge of your scrap on the edge of the paper you're trying to punch. And now instantly you can guide your image into the punch. And with that template, you can line both up at one time, punch them out. One punch, one stamp, 2 icons. Pretty cute, right? Then I've got some more stamping to do. Here's real red and here's Magenta Madness. Let's get some basic black. I've got tuxedo black right here too. This is a scrap of Smoky Slate. Got the lipstick image here from Hearts and Kisses. Let me grab some scratch paper. We don't want to get ink on our background. And we're going to stamp the lipstick tube in Tuxedo Black on Smoky Slate 2 times. Then we'll grab our simple chamois and wipe the black ink off. We've got a little real red scrap here. We're going to ink the top of that lipstick. Stamp real red on real red. Now slide these guys aside for a second. I did a little bit of die cutting ahead of time, so let me show you these. I've got my largest primitive heart. This one is from Stitched Be Mine. I also did this long label. That's from the Tasteful Labels dies. And I've also got from the Tasteful Labels Whisper White. This is the 3rd largest, kind of a long 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. And lastly, I die cut an oval. This is our layering ovals dies. This die set is so fantastic, and the new oval punch is amazing. Stampin' Up! Thinks of everything. The new oval punch coordinates with the layering ovals dies. So you'll see in just a minute, this is the 2 by 1 inch label. It's the second smallest. And there's the 1 3/4 inch little layering oval. Keep those in mind, but this one, Whisper White, is the second largest. We're gonna stamp our inside greeting on that oval. This, to the best friend a girl could ever ask for sentiment, is from the Meant to Be stamp set. It's a cling rubber stamp set from Stampin' Up! It's in the annual catalog. It's a perfect inside greeting for Happy Galentine's Day. Let's go ahead and stamp Happy Galentine's Day. Gonna get that guy inked up. Brill red also on the Whisper White label. And now let's do a quick bit of punching. I've got Magenta Madness in basic black scraps here. We're gonna take our story label punch and punch Magenta Madness. Leave that one here. We're gonna stamp on that one. We've got our new oval punch, and let me just punch this for you. We're gonna use this scalloped one, but I punched both sizes because I wanted to show you how this works. So that's that 2 by 1 oval, and there is the one that we just punched using the oval punch. And now when you look at this 1 3/4 inch oval, for tiny sentiments, you can stamp on the 1 3/4 and then layer it on top of the punched oval. It's a perfect sandwich, 2 by 1, and in between those two sizes is the 1 3/4 by 3/4, and then a little bit bigger than all three of those is that scallopy oval. And look at the difference between the scallops too from the punch. And let's see, so you can see the largest or the smallest scallop, it's about the same size as this second, and then the third one, it fits right in. So this punch was definitely designed with the existing die set in mind, and I think that's so brilliant on Stampin' Up's part. All right, let's do our Magenta Madness hearts. We're gonna put them kind of all over the end of this label, and then I'm just going to, okay, I'm only doing the edges on the label. I'm gonna kind of stamp the full story label though. See how neatly this pattern fits right in? It nests one right into the next, so it makes random stamping super easy. All right, we're done stamping. Let's clear away the stamp pads and get our adhesives. All right, so adhesives on this guy, I'm gonna use a combination of a dry adhesive and black Stampin' Dimensionals. I love having the black Stampin' Dimensionals. It's a great option when you're putting together cards for Halloween or with these black and white patterns. When you're using a black card base, it works really well. Got my little hearts. We're gonna pop that right in, glue that guy down. Then we'll take our Happy Galentine's Day and that scrap of black. Let's punch ourselves a story label punch. I'm really enjoying the way that this story label is layering up with all the different things we got going on here. We're gonna adhere Happy Galentine's Day right inside the story label. And then we'll take that combination and layer that on our tasteful label. For the inside of our card, we're going to go ahead and adhere our story label, our black scalloped oval punch and our greeting. And then we'll pop them on the inside of the card. What a cutie. I need a half a dimensional. Ah, look, I got one right there. Let's take that heart that we punched out, and I am going to go for it. I'm using a half a dimensional inside my card. We're just going to layer that real red together with the Magenta Madness. Look at those two different designer series paper. Pretty cool, right? And I found Sephora gift cards. These are perfect for our design and great for Galentine's Day. My friend Ethel told me how cool the design was. I had to go out and get some. All right, we're going to take just a little touch of tear and tape on the back, and then we can pop that little guy right inside on the pocket, tape it down. Now I got a cool little peekaboo gift card. We're getting there. Let's do some fussy cutting. I'm going to cut these lipsticks so that we have a nice little tab we can glue on. So we're not just cutting the lipstick off, we're actually leaving some of the tube. That's where we'll put our glue, and then it'll look like our red lipstick is coming out of our shiny black tube. Could put some Wink of Stella on the tube too. I think that'd look pretty cool. Let's cut out the tubes. Now we cut a little tiny gray edge around the outside of the tube, but when we get to the part where it's going to meet the lipstick, we're going to cut right on the black line. Now a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue on the end of our lipstick. We can pop it right in the tube. One more time. All right, I've got my second lipstick all glued together here. They look good, don't they? Aren't they cute? Let's get some dimensionals on the back of those. Before I do that, I'll give those a second to dry. Let's put our label on. That gives our glue a minute to set. All right, we want this up over our ribbing, kind of nestled right in. Looking good. Now the lipsticks, I'm gonna go ahead and tuck this little bow sideways a bit and shorten that one loop. Give this guy a little trim. Now what I did, I added my lipsticks where I wanted them, overlapped the way I liked them. When I had a good dry fit, then I added a dab of glue and made them one piece. Now they're going to be much easier to handle. Turn them over. Because this label is up on dimensionals, we only need dimensional adhesive at the very ends of our lipsticks. So that should do it. If you want to reinforce a little bit, you could add a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue where it's going to sit on the label. Don't cover your greeting, pop that guy right in there, and then make contact with those dimensionals. Looks good, doesn't it? We've got one more thing left. I'm going to add some matte black enamel, and our lips. Our lips are on the knot, so we'll want to carefully place our dimensional next to the knot, peel away the adhesive, and then we can pop our lips in over the knot and the lipstick, and it'll have the proper lift to hide that knot behind the lips. And next up are these gorgeous. I love the matte finish on these. They're just so cool. Be a good one to stock for next Halloween. I'm going to pick up a larger one, pop it on the label, and a smaller one, just 2 little dots this time, kind of in our little cluster of lips and lipsticks. There they are. Here's with the white with black polka dots, the black diagonal pattern. And then here's our white with the black mattress ticking and kind of a lattice pattern. Which one do you like better? I'm kind of a fan of the stripes, but I like the polka dots too. All right, that's all I got for you today. If you're interested in Coffee and a Mystery Card, playing along with us. We made this card together this afternoon. You collect your supplies. We get together on Facebook. I guide you through a series of clues. You never know where I'm going to lead you. Check out Kitchen Table Stamper Craft Social on Facebook. The link is below the video. If you've got questions about this project, email marissa@kitchentablestamper.com, and to shop Stampin' Up 24/7, buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching.